Hi there, Craig Harmann of Harmanny Music Education. Today, I want to talk to you about 3 P's about how to improve your performing. The first P is preparation. This is really important, obviously. I could have used practice, but preparation is really, really important when it comes to how to perform well. If you are performing a piece that you've spent a minimal amount of time with, chances are it's probably not going to go very well. However, that preparation also talks about your musical experience. You see, when I was in high school, my junior year specifically, I had to perform a solo, and it was 3 separate movements of a work. What I thought I was supposed to perform was movement 1, movement 2, and movement 4. I had to perform movement 1, movement 3, and movement 4. I didn't realize this until I played it for my director the night before the performance. So, needless to say, I had some work to do, and I practiced, and I practiced, and I practiced. And I ended up getting a starred 1, which meant I went to state competition with that. That's an anomaly because I'm not sure exactly how that happened. I guess it was just my musical ability at that point and the time that I had spent with playing the trumpet and my time with music that I was able to do that. That's not typical by any stretch. You want to spend time getting that music really, really well known, making it a part of you so that it comes from right here inside of you and not just because the music is telling you to do that. Step 2, perform. I know that seems obvious, right? But the more experience you have in performing in front of people, large groups, small groups, in between, is invaluable. Because the more experience you get with doing that, now you know kind of what to expect. I mean, even now, for me, after all my years of performing and playing the organ for worship and things like that, I've learned to expect the unexpected. But sometimes you get even unexpected unexpecteds. It's kind of fun. You learn how to roll with the punches. And the only way you can do that is through experience. The first church that I was full-time organist at, we had one Sunday morning where during the middle of the sermon, a squirrel decided to run into the nearby transformer. The squirrel did not survive, and neither did the power. So I had the rest of the worship service with no power. We had the emergency exit lights, and that was all that was lighting the sanctuary. No power to the organ, but there was a piano. So I snuck over to the piano and played that in the dark somehow. I've never had that experience since, but you always have those sometimes out of the blue experiences, and sometimes those unexpected unexpecteds will pop up. But the more experience you have in performing, in being around groups of people, being in front of people is so invaluable. And this also helps with, a little bit of stage fright, a little bit of anxiety in getting up in front of people. Honestly, the more experience you get with it, it really does help. The third P is perspective. What do I mean by perspective? Well, the perspective is when you have completed your performance, how did it go? Right? Giving yourself a review. Internally, of course, because I had this experience when I was in high school. I had played the organ for worship at my church where I grew up, and I had a few people telling me how wonderful it was, and it wasn't. I did horribly, in my opinion. And somebody had said that, and I said, no, it didn't go that well. And it just so happened that my mother was standing right next to me. She was not happy with me. And it was a very valuable lesson that I learned, that when someone gives you a compliment, no matter how great you think you did or didn't do, you smile and you say, thank you. But the thing about reviewing your performance is what went well, what didn't go well, and what can you learn from this experience? Because every experience of performing is an opportunity to learn and grow, not only as a musician, but also as a performer. The more experience you have, again, in performing, the easier it gets. But when you have this attitude of reviewing, having that perspective after you're done, did anybody stand up and boo while you were singing or making your music? Of course not. That never happens, right? Did anybody throw anything? No, I hope not. But the thing is, that perspective helps, right? And it helps you to grow and learn. I can remember the first time that I played the piano in front of people, in front of a large group of people, outside of just my piano teacher's recital. My church growing up would have the opportunity for children to share their musical gifts before the children's Christmas program on Christmas Eve. And so the first year I did it, I remember getting up to that piano and just my hands were shaking. I was so nervous. Now, getting up in front of people, playing on an instrument, doesn't matter what size the group, I'm not usually nervous. It's not that I'm not nervous, it's just that I've learned to control my expectations, how to deal with it through experience, and all those things put together really help to improve your time and your ability as a performer. So to review, preparation, perform, and perspective. Those three things will help you be a better performer.